Hello friends, welcome to the final part of Arthur's Italian adventures in A Dog's Life in Liechtenstein. This video is devoted entirely to our visit to Venice and the Biennale. Here you join us after we parked our car and took a bus across the lagoon into Venice. Rainer is now getting us tickets for the water bus that will take us to the entirely opposite side and end of Venice, where we have rented a small apartment for our stay. In Venice, it's one thing to see all the flash water taxis and speedboats, but I also love seeing all the working boats with local Venetians going about their business, such as this one with the family dog out for a ride. It's always interesting to see police and ambulances going about their business as if they were on any normal street in any normal town. One or two buildings I always look for. They're my favorites, and then I really know I'm in Venice. As usual, Arthur was just a gem to travel with. And here we're just approaching and then going under the famous Rialto Bridge. This is just after our water bus left its stop at St. Marco's Square. We still had a bit further along the island to go, as far as the area of Giardini della Biennale, or the Biennale Gardens. The little apartment that we were renting was in behind the garden area. And here you can see the start of the gardens, so it's almost time for us to get off the water bus. Although Arthur looks like he's settled in for a much longer trip. The owner of the apartment met us at the bus stop and walked us up through the park to show us its location. We have stayed in this area before, and there are several reasons we wanted to return to it. The most obvious is all the open green spaces for Arthur to enjoy. Other than that, it's located right behind the Biennale exhibition pavilions and just a short walk to the Arsenali, where the second part of the Biennale is located. As you can see, it tends to be much quieter and less touristy than other parts of Venice, so you're much more likely to see locals rather than tourists. And here's the apartment we rented, the ground floor of this building. The downside to this area is that you do have to walk or take a bus quite a distance back to the town centre, and there are very few shops or restaurants, although we have discovered two really good ones, so good you need to make a reservation. It was time to unpack and settle in. Grab a quick drink just around the corner from the apartment and then out into Venice to explore. But first, Arthur needed some time to do his kind of exploring, to find some favorite comfort spots close to home base. When you see Venice in movies or travel shows, you don't often see this quiet, green side of the city. But once away from the Grand Canal, there are many more peaceful places with plenty of history and beauty to discover. The Venice Biennale is an international contemporary art exhibition which is held every second year, hence the name, Biennale. The exhibitions are spread over 3 sections. This first section, called the Giardini, is where some countries have built permanent exhibition pavilions. The second section is the Arsenali, which is a complex of former shipyards and armories that offers huge open exhibition spaces where countries may rent anything from a small corner to a whole section. And finally, scattered throughout Venice, in little seen villas, warehouses and disused churches, other countries' exhibitions are displayed. This means not only do you get to discover some amazing art, but you get to walk and explore almost every corner of Venice, and this I can really recommend. Now I'd like to show you a few short snippets of some of the art we saw, but it's just a very quick representation of the hundreds of impressions we gained. Of course, for Rhino, we had to start in the Austrian pavilion. And for our Polish friend Julia, this is her country's contribution. Murals of Polish life all done in fabric. I loved the many little dogs included. As usual, the Korean pavilion didn't disappoint. This year it contained several almost living sculptures that reacted to light and sound and movement of particles. This one was almost freaky in the way it moved and seemed to breathe. There was plenty of art filled with color and many strange interpretations, such as these cute little guys that almost make me like sharks. Then we headed back to the streets to walk to the massive Arsenali. And yes, that was Rainer on his phone working. Yes, he's still working, but I get to enjoy the narrow little streets that lead us to the back of the first Arsenali building. Now let's see some impressions from inside. There were a lot of people near the entrance, but the facility is so huge that soon thinned out. This work, which was by a South African man called Exxon Adams, interested me greatly. At first, it looks like a huge handmade carpet until you get up close and see it's a tapestry stitched together with locally sourced fragments of wood, plastic, beads, shells, string, and rope. The work involved and the overall effect are both incredible. The use of textile was a theme of several installations, and as someone who sews and crochets, they were of special interest to me. These 2 installations look impressive enough from a distance, but getting up close shows their incredible woven construction. Isn't this from Doctor Who? Or is it inspired by the robot from Lost in Space? Of course, I had to seek out the New Zealand installation. I'm glad Arthur doesn't take after these Latvian dogs, although they do appear to be angels. A shout out to our Maltese friends, because your installation was pretty incredible. It was inspired by a Caravaggio painting, and it consisted of molten steel randomly raining down from above to land in water and slowly die. Hard to translate to film, but moving to experience. Once one building is finished, it's nice to pop out into the sunshine to reflect for a few minutes before finding the entrance to the next one. I was drawn by intriguing music to make a temporary detour into the old slipway to find soothing images of jellyfish floating. My son-in-law Scott is a fan of Salvador Dali, so I filmed a little longer here in the Slovenian exhibition in his honor, as these paintings have a bit of a Dali feeling, especially this mean bunny fish. For the Giardini and the Arsenali, Rainer and I had decided to leave Arthur at our accommodation, but of course we took the time to give him plenty of outdoor time and exercise. We discovered a seemingly unused nearby church and convent with enough space for ball play, and of course no cars make it an ideal dog world. Arthur also got to join us for our espresso or aperitif breaks, although he was often tormented by Venice's many pigeons. The day we headed out to discover the exhibitions dotted here and there in the city, Arthur could of course come with us. They could be absolutely anywhere. We even found one in a bank. Our walking took us through St. Marco's Square, and of course we encountered many more tourists there. But never mind, it's still always gorgeous to see. We always asked for permission, and most of the exhibitions were all okay with Arthur participating. Only some asked us to please carry him, but he probably enjoyed the cuddles, and sometimes he definitely seemed to enjoy the art as well. In one exhibition, we noticed a sign indicating a cafe up some stairs, and we discovered a real little gem. The views were fantastic, and the lady who ran the cafe was so friendly to us and Arthur, we decided to eat a light lunch of prosciutto and melon, accompanied by cold Aperol spritzers. And oh my goodness, it was good. Then it was back to discovering art, and I want to show you a showing by A Fuhrman, the American artist who creates hyperreal painted sculptures. The detail is so perfect. Look at the water drops. It's like looking at a still life from a Dutch master. Here I'm saying, hey, I'm also in Venice. There's always steps nearby to sit on and take a water break, but Arthur always confused drinking it to wanting to swim in it. When I was a child, we had a wonderful old Kaleidoscope in the house, and I've been fascinated with them ever since. So I really enjoyed Bangladesh's novel commentary on the COVID pandemic. Sometimes it's the buildings of Venice and the varied views you see from their windows that are more interesting than the exhibitions they house. Well, we managed to see almost every exhibition and needed another rest before the walk back to our accommodation. Arthur, however, still looks fresh and interested in gondolas. In fact, we were so tired we decided to catch a bus back to the other end of the city. So we joined all the other commuters, and finally, Arthur showed a little tiredness. His enthusiasm for life soon came back when we got off the bus and treated him to some more dog-appropriate fun in the park. He deserved it. He'd been such a good boy all day. As it was our final evening in Venice, we dressed nicely and went out for a fantastic Italian dinner. Do you remember a crochet project I showed you previously? Well, I did finish it and got to wear it for the summer. Arthur was the perfect romantic dinner accessory who charmed the waiters and got us wonderful service. The next morning meant sadly leaving Venice. The Biennale is special for Rainer and I for two reasons. Firstly, it gives us the opportunity to see a huge variety of world art, and we always come away with many impressions. And the second reason is that it gives us the opportunity to visit Venice, one of our most favorite cities in the world. Well, friends, I hope you enjoyed this short glimpse of our Venetian visit as much as we enjoyed experiencing it. Please click like and subscribe if you haven't already, and see you again soon.